it's Ellie. Welcome back to another Sims 4 recreation build, which is a series where I recreate a TV or movie set into The Sims 4 so that everyone can play it in their games. And today I am building a house that I am really excited about because it is the Underwood's townhouse from House of Cards. So this is the house that Frank and Claire lived in for the first one, two, three, maybe three. I think 2 or 3 seasons. So they lived there for a good chunk of the show. Not a crazy amount of time, but I definitely got enough sense of the house that I thought it would be perfect to build in The Sims 4. A lot of the furniture is like that old vintagey looking, like Victorian style furniture. So we have that in The Sims 4. We have even a few different versions of that style furniture. So it worked out really perfectly that I was able to kind of build everything fairly realistically in the Sims 4 as it is in the real house. And I was even lucky enough to find a whole collection of photos that was basically a house tour of, well, really only the rooms that you see them film in. So I realized yesterday, actually, as I was watching this back, that there is a very short section of time where they are in their guest bedroom of the townhouse, I'm quite sure. So I need to go back and look at that or watch that show, that one episode, I guess. I'll just probably rewatch the entire show, even though I just watched it 2 weeks ago. I started it probably 3 weeks ago, and then I finished it just after the 5th season came out. It actually worked out perfectly that I started it just before season 5 came out, which it came out on May 30th, I think it was, or the 31st. One of those. And so, yeah, I started watching this show about a week before that. I managed to get halfway through season 4 by the time season 5 came out. So I finished watching season 4 and went right on to season 5. And it was so perfect because I didn't have to wait to watch the new season like everybody else did, which must have sucked. And waiting for this next season is also going to be pretty bad because the ending, and don't worry, no spoilers, but the ending was crazy and I can't wait to see what happens next. I'm so in shock what's gonna happen now. Oh my gosh. So anyway, yeah, I enjoyed building this. It just gave me an excuse to see more House of Cards. But I did not actually put that bedroom, that guest bedroom, in the house the way it is because I forgot that that was a scene. When I was just looking up for screenshots, there was no screenshots of the guest bedrooms anywhere or really any of the other upstairs area. So I have no idea how it's laid out, and that is probably the biggest difference of this build versus the real house is the upstairs layout. There's no layout for it. I looked everywhere and I just couldn't really find one that I thought was legit, I guess. I mean, some people I'm sure have made some up. I'm making up the house plan right now as a Sims 4 house. So I mean, yeah, I know people make up the house plans, but I wanted something to be pretty accurate and I just really didn't find anything that I thought was good enough to go off of as a reference. So I guess I'll just talk about the changes, or the differences I should say, from this house to the real house, because I'm sure you're inclined to point them out, but don't worry, I already noticed them. They bug me more than they bug you, I can assure you of that. So let me just go through them all. Let's see. First of all, the windows are not quite right. The windows are all brown in the show, and these ones have a white trim, but unfortunately there was no windows that were that size and shape, and the inside of those windows is actually pretty accurate. I should have put some blinds on probably, but the blinds are kind of weird on those windows, so I just left them off. I think it looks fine, just plain actually. But I do wish the trim on the outside was brown instead of white, because there is big brown trim around the windows in the real house. So that's probably something you may or may not notice. I notice it, but maybe other people don't notice. Second, let's see. So the hallway from the stairs to the kitchen is kind of wrong. It's like too big, I think. I don't think it's that long in the real house, but I don't really know. I mean, my layout is a little off, I guess. It's like too big. All the rooms are just slightly too big, so that makes that hallway much longer than it needs to be, unfortunately. But as far as the Sims go, I kind of needed it to be that size, because I needed things to be symmetrical, especially with the fireplaces. They just had to work on the wall properly so that I could fit everything, and like the dining table fits exactly in that dining room. You cannot shorten that anymore, because your chairs would be in the archway and you wouldn't be able to use them, which, I mean, there are 6 other chairs, so it wouldn't be the end of the world if you can't use the 2 on the end. But I prefer everything to be usable in my houses. I do try to make that so you can actually play in them with your Sims. Not that it just looks good, but you can actually go in and use everything and not have to move everything around, so that your Sims can, like cook dinner. Or once I tried to put this fridge behind an archway because I thought it looked really cool, but turns out you can't get into the fridge, so that is kind of pointless to do. I mean, it looks cool, but you just have to delete it anyway if you actually want to use the house. So yeah, the rooms are exactly the size that they needed to be, but that made the hallway messed up. And I think lastly, for the bottom floor, with as far as big differences go, is the back room behind the kitchen, or maybe to the left of the kitchen, I should say. The thing is, that room, I actually don't know what's in that room. I think that room is used for security. Like all the computers and the security guys on guard hang out there and look at all the cameras from around the house and stuff. Like, I'm pretty sure that's the room that they're in when they do all that stuff. But I couldn't really easily make that room in The Sims, because that's kind of, I don't know, it just seemed a little like too pointless. Even for a recreation, I didn't want to put like 60 computers in that one room, because that would make the house really expensive, and your Sim would probably always be on the computer if there was that many, like, for real, always. That annoys me when all the Sims, they just want to be on the computer and you have to make them go do other stuff, because even though I'm sitting on the computer, my Sims can't sit on the computer. That's just, I don't know, that's like some Inception kind of stuff. I don't know. So anyway, yeah. So I made this room into an office, sort of. An office/security room, so it does kind of have like that security desk vibe, I guess, in the corner. That corner desk could easily be the security guy's computer, and then I just put this fancy desk for Frank or Claire, I guess, whoever's working, and I also put the political podium stand, which is for the political career, so you can practice your charisma, and I figured that was exactly fitting to be in there because, Frank is a politician. So yeah, this front area is probably a little messed up too. I didn't even look up what kind of door they have, to be honest, because I just wanted to get one that matched, I thought. So I went with that brown one, and I'm gonna call it good enough even if their door is not brown. I don't care. I also made sure to add the courtyard in the back of the house, which I can't remember if I left that in the video or not. See, the thing is, I cut out probably a half of the upstairs, a good half of it, because that's not in the show, like I kind of already mentioned, except that one guest room, but I'll have to change that before I upload the house. Anyways, yeah, I just cut those rooms out though, besides the bedroom that I'm working on now, because I really didn't feel like it needed to be in the recreation build when I was just making it up. And honestly, I didn't really do a great job. I just kind of made it extremely simple and filled up the room as best I could and kind of tried to keep the style of the house as much as I could with all the furniture and trying not to use this exact same furniture that I've already been using. But, you know, I made it work in the end. So you've got a few extra bedrooms for whatever you want. I guess I probably should have turned one of them into like a dual office for both of Claire and Frank. But whatever, that doesn't really matter. There's plenty of desks in here that your Sims will not be like having nowhere to sit or do work, you know? So you're good there. The bathroom I'm about to work on is a lot more cluttered in the picture, I realized afterwards, so I might go through and add like the bathrobe and whatnot that I saw in there, but I just kind of kept the bathroom pretty plain and tried to get it accurately. There wasn't a good tile for what tile is in that actual bathroom, so I just kind of had to go with a plain white one and white tile floors. It's a very white bathroom. It's like my worst nightmare bathroom. I can't stand when all the tiles and the floors and the walls and the ceilings and all the appliances are white. That's just like, my brain goes into overdrive. It's like, it's just too much white. It's just too much. Anyways, I've been thinking about what show I will do a recreation for next, and I'm honestly not sure what I want to do yet. I really wanted to build the Underhouse, the Underwood townhouse. I mean, Underhouse. Combining words. Okay, yeah, the Underwood townhouse. I just really wanted to build it since season 5 like just came out a week ago, or almost 2 weeks ago when this video will be out. But yeah, I wanted to do it. I loved the house. It was perfect to do in The Sims. But yeah, I'm really not sure what I will do next week. I still want to build Wilson Fisk's apartment from Daredevil, but that one's pretty plain, and I am enjoying doing these more challenging builds, I guess. I feel like that one will be fairly easy, especially since you don't really see... I mean, I think it's like a 1-bedroom apartment, penthouse apartment perhaps. I'm not really sure, but I think it's pretty small, so won't take a lot of time, and I think I want to do something bigger next week. I was actually thinking of doing perhaps the Queen's mansion from the show The Arrow, like Oliver Queen and his whole family. They live in a mansion in the first season or 2, or I don't even remember. It's been a while since I watched that show. I have to catch up, but they lived in a really cool mansion that I liked, and I thought it might be fun to try to build that, but that would be a really big project, and I would probably have to split it into 2 separate builds because it would be too long. I definitely think that will take me more than, say, a few hours. Like, I think this one took me about 4 hours to build total, maybe 3.5. And it's fairly sizable, I mean, but it's nothing compared to a mansion. So, yeah, it will be quite a big challenge to do that. But I'm going to look up pictures and see if there's any decent ones that I can get good references on and not have to watch the entire show over, though I might do that anyway. But even so, the show doesn't always give the best references, especially if you have to keep pausing it, but you just want to watch the show, but you need to see what's in that scene in the background. This is what I go through on a daily basis. Okay. Anyways, that's about the end of this speed build. So I just gonna build the courthouse now. Or the courthouse. Oh my gosh, what am I even saying? I keep adding house to the end of all my words. The courtyard. It's a courtyard where they just sit. I pretty much just added the table and the grill. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to my channel because I post Sims videos every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And make sure to look out next week for another Sims 4 recreation build. I hope to see you in the next video. Until then, bye!